Alright guys, today we're doing some plumbing stuff. My boy Frankie's here. You'll meet him in a second once he gets off the phone. But also, on top of that, I got all my body kit stuff back. And I mounted it up, and I just wanted to mock it up right now, and I want to get the car on the floor. But I also want to show you guys what's going on right here with this car, because it looks insane. Boom!
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Joe absolutely killed it. He took the Street Fighter kit and molded it into the 2F Performance kit and into this Street Fighter kit here, so it looks super nice. You got the lip there from the Street Fighter built into the 2F, and then the 2F he also shrunk it because it's built to bolt up to factory length side skirts, but these are shorter because of the Street Fighter. Also did the same thing in the rear end, molded it, boom, into the side skirt. Insane, dude. The whole Street Fighter kit bolted up to the 2F Performance kit is here as well. As you can see, it sticks out of the garage, so I gotta put the car on the floor and roll it back forward. I'll put the nice wheels on it all the way around so I can see this thing and start getting ready to start adjusting ride height. Whole rear end's together. We did the fuel system together last time. The coolant system is pretty much done. I just gotta mess with those dash 4s. This is all here. I gotta get this painted. We thought it was gonna be covered for whatever reason, but we figured out it's not. But you can see the whole kit completely molded in. Finally have an aero kit. One of the things with me is I see kits and I'm like, I don't really like the way that looks, but I also have never been the one to take it and do anything with it. So once it's in my hands, I have a different style than most people, and I feel like I can make things that I don't like originally on other people's cars look better on my car. So I'm gonna put this thing on the floor for the first time, and I want you guys to be here to see it. I also got my doors back too. They're right there in the driveway. Oh, check this thing out, dude. Frankie's here, and what Frankie's doing is going over some of the plumbing for the brakes. He's gonna help me do all the brake stuff, and he's got these really cool ideas on how to hide it and make it look like super clean. And so essentially this will be the engine bay you see normally, except maybe a line and then a catch can, and that's it. He talked me into going, instead of doing a external reservoir for the Tilton kit, I can actually do on master reservoirs. So we'll have all the reservoirs in the car, so there's no mounting or bracketing anything. So it's just getting cleaner and cleaner the more we build it, which is weird because usually it gets, you start off with the clean chassis and then it works into getting really complicated, but this car is just coming together. I threw a set of gears in the winters. Also, I threw a 380 in there. No, a 338, because in the other car I have a 340 something. So I threw a 338 in here so that I can compare the two cars as close as possible without having to go and get a new gear set. So let's put this thing on the floor and see what it looks like. Look at this thing. Wow. That's gonna have to be raised in the front just a bit. Geez, see, this is the gap I don't really like. But I think what I can do is when I raise the front, it'll set a little bit more weight back here and might get these to compress just a bit more in the rear. And that'll be nice, but geez, look at this freaking thing, dude. Oh, it looks super raked in the camera, but it's not that raked in person. That skirt's pretty level. The front's already a little bit higher too. I think I can get the rear to settle and raise the front a little bit. I don't like the natural rake of BMWs. I always try to get rid of it, but man, wow. Holy crap, that is beautiful. Oh, this car's gonna be so sick when it's done. I gotta put those taillights in right now. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the taillights in so you guys can see it with the taillights, because oh, those fresh white and red taillights are gonna look so good. Damn! Oh, it looks good with taillights. All right, let me introduce you to somebody special in my life that I met recently. This here is Frankie Trutanic. These side skirts are not gonna last. That's like the 4th time we've kicked them?
I already kicked them.
You kicked them like 5 times. I kicked them twice.
I kicked them on purpose when you're in the house.
This is Frankie Trutanic. Frankie has a super sick Buick. Frankie was also, you were also on Fastest Car.
I was.
You have a sick Buick.
I fell asleep at the line. I took a little nap. Call it a siesta.
Our brothers in the south call it a siesta. He also has a super sick Porsche. that he just recently got. You had a Trackhawk, that's gone though.
Trackhawk's gone.
And the bubble top.
CTSV wagon's gone.
CTSV wagon's gone.
62 bubble top with an LS.
62 bubble top. Cut to the clip of this guy letting me do a donut in it.
Let it eat or what?
So that's his car. It's got an LS3 in it, a turbo 400.
No, LS3 hot cam with the Delmo package.
Okay.
The 4L70.
And the Delmo's all the old school looking.
Yeah, it's got
valve covers,
totally looks
intake
like
manifold.
I kicked it again.
Kicked it again, you bastard.
Don't put that on the Christmas list.
Yeah. Hey, 2F, we need some more skirts.
And yeah, what else do I got on that thing?
I don't know.
Just
It's
in
beautiful.
Carcraft.
It's beautiful white. It's got really nice red interior.
Yep.
The steering wheel, the dash, the seats, the carpet, everything's red.
Yep.
And it looks, it's freaking phenomenal.
It's a cool car.
So he brought that thing to work one day because I met him at the shop I used to work at, and he brought that and we would go to lunch in it pretty often. Anytime he brought it, he was driving to lunch. So we would all pile in. Frankie here has come to assist us. He's from P2 Fabrication, by the way. Him and our other buddy that we met at the shop. But I met Sam and Frankie from the shop, and they have a company called P2 Fabrication out in Long Beach, right down the street from Hoonigan.
Yep.
Like not far at all. So these guys do fab work out in Long Beach. If you're trying to get some stuff down out in Long Beach, these are the boys that hit up. And check out Fast's car because you'll see his Buick and you'll see the quality of work that these guys do. Super, super legit. So Frankie has volunteered. He got voluntold to help me with my brake lines because we did the brake lines on the S1 car. Well, you did. We installed them. You did them and they came out super clean and nice. And it could have been better, but you got told to do things a certain way. But on this car, I'm giving him complete and total freedom to do whatever he wants.
They call it carte blanche in some other language.
So Frankie's got a plan for the brake lines in this car, and maybe you can walk the people through what you're thinking.
So, I think what would be pretty clean from the inside, I guess, going out.
Yeah.
We're gonna go banjos off of here. So, like, more than likely, this one will go straight, or like angle up. This one will angle down, and this one will go straight. And then tuck really tight against the firewall. And then for the front line, we'll probably do a bulkhead T. So it'll kind of do a loop-de-loop, like a little 90 or 180 into here.
So it'll be a straight sticking out,
The straight leg will be sticking out here.
and then the T will be inside.
And it'll be inside so that it'll literally shoot out each way here. We'll probably make another hole there, another hole here, and then literally loop out into the firewall area.
So it T's there. Put another hole.
It's gonna T here,
Right?
so, or it should actually T here.
Yeah, on the inside.
I don't know, I'll figure out a way to make it clean. So either it's gonna T out of this one or out of this panel. Nonetheless, the lines will come out of the firewall either here or out here, and then dive down both sides proportionally, and then bulkhead here, and bulkhead on the same spot on the other side. And then the flex line will go straight in to your caliper with obviously enough slack.
So we're only gonna have 14 to 13 inches of brake line in the engine bay.
Yeah.
So another thing that's like hidden in the engine bay. And then we're gonna wrap them. You said, what was it? Lizard wrap?
It's like, it's heat sleeving, we call it lizard sleeve.
Lizard sleeve.
We're gonna do that on those lines in there, so that way the brake fluid doesn't boil. Another thing we'll try to achieve is to keep the flex lines the same length on the front and the rear. That way the spares are the same. That way you're not like this is the front line, this
Right.
is the rear line. You just have
Which I've been a huge fan of because even our calipers that are in the front there, the Willwoods, are the same calipers and size pistons and everything as the ones that are in the rear. So keeping it uniformed and symmetrical makes it way easier to work on.
And then it, like, you nerd out on it when you look under it, you're just like, wow. Like if you see undershots on my Buick, all my flex lines are done the same way to where like all the lines are the same length.
Yeah.
I know they're all like 12-inch flex lines.
If you make spares, you make 2 spares and you essentially have one for that can be used in the front or the rear.
Yeah, and since it's a solid axle rear also on the Buick, the flex line that goes from the frame to the rear end is also a 12-inch line. But literally
Perfect.
everything is the same. So
Same
like,
lengths.
that's the little things like, if you really map it out and spend a little bit of time, it'll just be cleaner. You're still spending as much time doing all the work.
Right.
So you might as well just spend an extra hour or two of mapping everything really nice. And then it always helps to have like, we're bouncing ideas off each other.
Right.
And then you're like, no, I don't like it this way. And then, you know.
It's the same thing I did with Schaefer the other day when we were doing the coolant lines. He was in the fuel system. He was the one who told me to do the filter on the bracket on the bar, because I was going to mount it similar like what we did with the S1s, mount the regulator and the fuel filter all in the engine bay. But then he was like, well, why don't you just get the clamps and put it on the back here so it's in the back and clean. So now I have my filter pumps in the rear and then just my regulator and injectors in the front. Super simple.
Yeah. Rule of thumb, like as much as like the idea of having plumbing shown as much as possible, like if you look at really clean done cars, the name of the game is to hide the plumbing as much as you can.
I agree.
Otherwise it just looks like a bowl of spaghetti and you're like, okay, which noodle goes where?
Right, exactly. Which I experienced recently. I was telling you earlier about my buddy who had that on his car. It was just so much crap going on in the engine bay. So this is getting built cleaner than like a lot of show cars that I've seen, and I'm gonna beat the hell out of this car, which is what it's built for. So it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, right.
So the front tees into there. Now you got the rear line.
So the rear line, they're all gonna follow the same path. So like you're gonna have these 3 lines that are gonna be all hard line bent on the same like angles with a nice bender.
All nice and parallel.
Yep. And then you're gonna have 2 lines break out from here.
Okay.
One will dive down with a straight bulkhead
Okay.
for the clutch.
Perfect.
Slave. And then you'll have the rear line come here, meet the handbrake line, and then we're gonna make a cover here. So essentially they'll be like tucked up against this cover for the trans tunnel.
Right.
And then these 2 lines are gonna tuck down the drive line tunnel and then do the same thing here like the front, where there'll be 2 teeth, bulkhead teeth.
2 straight sticking out and the T side on the inside.
Yep. So then you'll have the same thing. When you look under it, it'll be totally symmetrical. So like when you're under the car, you'll have the 2 hard lines that are literally Siamesed. The same thing for the handbrake. They're gonna be Siamesed and then they'll go back to the control arm. Well, you'll have the same thing what we're talking about with the front.
Right.
Doing the flex lines.
Same
Hopefully
size.
the same length.
So it'd be cool if we can do the handbrake one and the foot brake one soft lines the same length and the front brake
Yeah,
the
that's
same
the goal.
length. That'd be
That's how the
perfect.
Buick is.
All symmetrical.
Obviously, when you're doing any of this stuff, always be mindful when you're doing hydraulic stuff that's under high pressure. You always want to do steel or stainless steel, because most racing bodies will not approve aluminum fittings on anything hydraulic related.
Right.
Power steering pressure, brake pressure, you always want to have all stainless steel or steel.
Right. Which I made a mistake on, and I grabbed aluminum ones thinking like, oh, I'll have these so at least we can position them. I'm learning. So I grabbed these aluminum ones from Phoenix, which again, shout out to Phoenix. They're working with us this year, but they have stainless ones. I just grabbed black aluminum because I've been doing everything in black aluminum. So I need to swap one of the fittings on my power steering and then all the T fittings on the brakes. But Frankie did, again, the brake lines on the S1 and they're freaking phenomenal. So naturally when I had to do brake lines on this car, he was the person I was gonna go have help me do it.
Which I'm honored to.
That's sweet of you. Don't lie.
I'm honored.
You hate your life.
I drove an hour and a half to do this,
Just to map it out.
just to map it out. I drove an hour and a half home.
What a freaking sweetheart. This isn't exactly like a list that you have to necessarily do, but writing out a list and figuring out everything prior to working on saves you so much time and not having to go back and forth to the store and being able to just get it all done in one day.
And best suggestion, even though you have everything mapped out, always get a couple extra of everything. You're gonna go back to the fitting store if you go exact numbers. So why not just get a couple extra of everything? That way you don't have to go back. Only time you're going back is to return the fittings. Or, given that this is a race car, you always wanna have extra fittings.
Right.
When you're going to the track and whatever track there is, you don't know what fitting stores are around. You don't wanna have to go to a competitor's trailer. Obviously, if you have to,
You do what you gotta do. Yeah.
but you wanna minimize the times you ask for those favors.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you are competing against everyone.
Not everybody wants to help.
Yeah.
It's just natural, like most guys will help, especially in drifting. The drift community is super helpful and everybody's usually willing to give a hand unless you have beef with somebody, which is probably because that fool's a punk. Or, you know, most guys will help. And even I would even lend parts to somebody who I didn't really care for. They probably wouldn't come ask me, but if they did, I'd probably still lend a part just because you don't ever want, like I heard this recently, you don't ever want to beat somebody because of failure on their car or an accident or something. You always want to kick somebody's butt when they're at their best. Like so you can say, hands down, no funny games, no funny business. You had no excuse. I whooped you, and that's how it went. So you always want to beat your worst enemy at his best. You don't want to beat him when he's limping, because it just takes away from your victory, which has happened in my career.
If you want to see how that happens, you just watch Discovery Channel and go on Street Outlaws, and then watch the guys that beat someone on technicality. It's very lackluster. You're like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, whatever.
That would have been cooler if there was actually 2 cars going down the
road.
Instead of one that was like ready to go down the road and the other one wasn't.
Right. It's just way better. But I agree. So I did the same thing with Phoenix. The first time I went, I bought too little of fittings and the wrong angles and different things like that because I didn't map it out properly. I really didn't know what I was doing until I started getting into it. But I ended up taking parts that I had back and returning them, getting new parts and coming back. I think I did 3 trips to Phoenix when I could have did 1 had I mapped it out and had I just got the extra fittings. Because now I got to make a 4th trip because I still have extra fittings that I need to take back. Just get it done. I've been preaching this to you guys. If you have and this doesn't really apply to this, but it's kind of the same concept. If you have enough money to do it wrong twice, you have enough money to do it right the first time. So we're trying to do everything right on this car.
No matter what you do, like to build a nice car that's gonna work, there's no cheap way of doing it.
No.
Unless you have a wealthy family.
Which it's still not cheap. The money's still getting spent.
It's not like directly yours.
Right. Spending somebody else's money is always nice.
Yeah, or you have like really sweetheart sponsors that are just dumping out money for you, but there's really no cheap way to build a really nice car.
No.
Like, seeing the evolution of what you're doing with this car from the last car, like it's noticeably nicer.
A lot nicer. This one's definitely better than the last car.
Because the thing too is like when you're building the car for the second time, you already know the stuff you're going to improve on.
Right.
Naturally. You know, you might get some crap for everything being black. I kind of like it. It like looks menacing.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
One of the things I really wanted was to get majority of the fabrication work done on this, and then I wanted to get it all painted black, and then a gloss black to where I have like a spray paint can that'll blend right into this if need be. Like say we ended up welding something in this area and it burned the paint, I can always just kind of scuff it all back up, spray it with the black, and it blends. But at least every nook and cranny on this for the most part is already painted black, so it's nice. It's nice to start off like this. But black is such a good base because if I was to strip a wrap off of it, the car still looks good. If I put a wrap on top of it, it still looks good. So I'm really like, I want to go drive this thing really bad with no panels on it, just all black skeleton.
I'll drive. You sit on the floorboard here next to your cooling lines.
I'll hang on to those brake lines.
No problem.
I'll just grab one, hang on.
To this here strap.
Yeah, that works too.
This is a.
Why you gotta point my strap out?
This is what you call a Home Depot version of a cross member.
That's a trans bracket, bro.
Yeah, right onto your trans linkage, which, man, let me tell you.
Legit mounting, bro.
Yep, we're really testing the shear strength right there on the trigger linkage. Shout out to G-Force. It's lasted a few days already.
Shout out G-Force South. That thing's been on there for a week. Not a hiccup. Oh, God.
At least we didn't go off the safety wire.
Yeah, I could have totally just hooked it on that there safety wire. Yeah, but this thing's coming together, dude. This is it here with the body kit. I just want to intro you guys to Frankie because Frankie's going to be here helping me with the brake lines, and we'll probably go over some more stuff once he's here. Holy crap, I'm really bright. Not much going to be going on, so there's really no point in filming for you guys, but this is it, dude.
We could do jumping jacks and burpees in the driveway.
We could.
But we're not.
But I'm not going to do it.
That'll make us more susceptible to the coronas.
This is true. If your body's tired.
I'm tired, man.
Are you tired?
I need a nap.
You're going to get sick.
Yep.
No burpees. We're not doing burpees. Nope. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and stay safe. Say bye, Frankie.
Adios.